That's how I feel about it. There is a whole neighborhood of me that ain't voting. So I do feel like if I did vote, my voice would be drowned out by the ones that ain't doing anything at all.
So let me ask you this, Rhonda. Do you think it's important to vote as a
Yes,
black, as an
yes,
African American?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So if you think that, do you think that you can that you can influence more people around you to do the same thing? Do you think that your voice could actually build on a bigger audience to say,
Yes,
all right,
yes,
let's all vote?
yes, I do. I do. I do believe that if I go out and say, okay, y'all, we need to go out here and vote. We need to go out and vote. We need to go out here and vote. But you know what? That's all over the social media. That's all over TV. That's all over everything. People in the community Revolt that's running for office, they'll say, "Oh, come election day, I'll come and I'll pick you up. Call us. We'll come and get you." Does that ever happen? No. I think about the things that like this in our community, black community, when you're living in the hood. When Miss Ethel down the street during the wintertime, Miss Ethel down the street gonna die because she can't pay her light bill, her gas bill, and she gonna freeze to death in a house. We got old people living in communities that no one can help. No one can help. You know,
Mhm.
and that's why I just say, you know what? Forget
And
it.
that's the whole agenda of white America, uh Republicans, um, supremacists. They want you to feel this way. They want you to feel like your vote is not going to matter. They don't want your vote because they know how powerful it actually is. So they want people like you to feel that way so that they will stay home. Because let's just say it, Hillary lost by what? 3,000 votes?
No,
That's
she
you
won. She won the popular vote. She lost the electoral vote.
Yeah,
We
you
don't
lost
have.
that
by like
silver.
3,000. No, it was a very small number. So just think about how many areas and how many communities, such as yourself, of people feeling like you did that did not vote, because that was the whole agenda. That's what they wanted you not to do,
They were
to
pushing
feel
it in
this
the
way.
black conscious community not to vote. But bear with me a minute, y'all. Y'all, like, sorry for the delay, but we
You
have
guys
been
are
back
not
here
absolutely
having
right, but
a
that's
heated debate. Hold on.
hey, that's
Rhonda,
my truth. That's my truth, and that's just what it was.
Rhonda, I'm talking to the chat.
You had told me to shut up, y'all.
Now I have to just get their attention. That's all. But peace, family. Sorry for the delay. We were having a heated debate about what we are going to discuss today. I had to put the black beautiful goddess on fire so we could bring y'all some information. But I'm gonna have to control them because
You hear this? This is women's empowerment. You hear this shit?
Right. Control it.
they get real heated, and then they don't want to let nobody else talk. But let me speak to the chat right quick. We have Gwen Gordon in the building. Hello. We have Ms. TR in the building. Hello. We have Angela White in the building. Hello.
Hey, Angela.
We have Retro Babe in the building.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
We have L Word panel member in the building on the ones and twos. Jay Dunn. Hello.
What up, Jay Dunn?
We have Christy Love in the building. Hello. What's
Hey,
up,
Christy.
Retro Babe? We have Queen Tuki in the building. Hello. Yeah, today, we a little fired up already. We're gonna do call-ins later. But however, today we're gonna start off by discussing the Revolt TV discussion between T.I. and Candace. Now, before I allow Melissa Ocha, that's my friend. Hello. But before I get started, let me let the panel go ahead and introduce themselves. Go ahead, Rhonda, girl down the street, and make sure you introduce your channel as well and drop your link.
Hey, this is Rhonda, the girl down the street. You can hit me up on my channel, Girl Down the Street, and see what we got going on over there. So you won't be disappointed.
All right. Now, BB Nice, go ahead. This is a co-host, BB Nice. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, it's BB Nice. My channel is BB Nice at I was about to tell y'all my email. My bad, y'all. But no, my name is BB Nice. I don't have a lot going on my channel yet, but
She
it's
does
coming
have
along.
live.
It's
We
coming
both
along.
live. Y'all subscribe to both. Y'all subscribe to both. You know, they're gonna be, it's content coming to both channels soon. So make sure you subscribe to them, as well as subscribe to the other panel, the L Word panel members, J Dunn on them ones and twos, and BB Nice. J Dunn, if you're in the chat, make sure you drop your link and help drop the links of the two beautiful panelists today. Okay, like we said, now our first discussion on the table is going to be that heated discussion between T.I. and Candace. And trust me, just being behind the scenes, it has been heated. So I know that conversation was heated. So go ahead and drop those 2 points for us, BB.
Well, it was a good summit. It was a good debate. It was not QI. It was T.I., Kirsten, I forgot her last name. It was Killer Mike, Candace Owens, Tamika, and then there was another guy called Steve, something like Steve Legit or Steve Legit, something like that. Well, anyway, they were talking about how the Black community, the voting and the election and the president and all these different aspects of the Black community and how we vote and how we're being treated. And like I was saying earlier, I did agree with a lot of points that Candace was making. She is a Republican. She does vote for Trump. I myself, I do not identify with either. I like some things that Democrats say. I like some things that Republicans say. I like some things that independents say. But what I did take from that is from Killer Mike, the ending of it was when he was saying we need to start a party of our own because we all have different views and we have good views, and everybody should get together with these views and come up with something and present it to the table. And if you can't meet our standards, then you don't get our support. Period. We should start a party of our own. And I was with that. With Candace, I agree with some points that she was making as far as how the Black woman was should be how the immigrants is taking over and making it harder for Black people because you have this thing where the immigrants come in and they get paid less to do the same work. So it puts us in a worse position as Black people. And I agree with that. And what else did she say? She said a couple of other things. I can't think off the top right now because we was debating so hard earlier.
We can start with that one. Okay, so you said you agree with that. Okay, Rhonda, girl down the street, what do you think about when Candace's position of immigrants getting paid? Immigrants mess it up for us because they get paid less than what we do.
I agree with a lot of things that Candace said.
Not just this one point. We're gonna go one at a time.
Okay, with this point, where immigrants take, I do think immigrants do take a lot off the table for the working.
Okay. Well, are you finished? Okay. Well, my point on that is first of all, the thing that I keep in mind is that Candace is a Republican supporter. She's a Trump supporter. So with that one point that she made, I'm going to debunk or combat it by saying, first of all, the Republicans are the richest people in America. The Republicans are the corporations and most of the business owners in America. Therefore, when you say that, immigrants are being allowed to come over here and they're paid less, and then also we're going to look at the outsourcing jobs outside of the United States. Therefore, when you look at which party is doing it, I would say the Republican Party is doing it. Now and I'm basing this on her argument and not the stance. Her argument, based on her argument, that was a misnomer, because it's not the Democrats that are controlling, paying immigrants under, lower wages, therefore they get the job. It's the rich people, the Republicans, who are doing it. So you're pushing, in my opinion, Candace is pushing a party that is responsible, for these immigrants, getting paid less, therefore hiring, getting hired more. That's my opinion.
I don't agree with that, because I don't think that, well, maybe that was it, but I don't agree that it's just the Republicans, because I just think it's a rich to the poor thing. It doesn't, like, there are rich Republicans, there are poor Republicans, there are rich Democrats, there are poor Democrats, there are rich independents, there are poor independents. It's rich and the poor. So when you go into these, like I gave an example earlier, when you go into these Burger Kings and these McDonald's, you see a lot of immigrants there working, and the minority are the Americans. And that's because a lot of them are not legal and they get paid a hell of a lot less. So they are willing to pay less for the labor than what, Americans should be getting paid. So why wouldn't they pick that? But that's not a Republican thing or a Democratic thing. That's a rich to a poor thing.
The company that I work for, I am the minority. There might be 3 or 4 blacks in a company with over 400 employees. I have a language barrier. I don't understand half of the things they be saying to me, and I'm a supervisor, and I don't even understand them. But why I won't, if I want to do, but a fear of, I gotta train 2 or 3 weeks. I can't do it, only because I gotta train a couple of weeks. A lot of us want things here and now. Here and now. As soon as you walk in, no one want to put forth the effort to get where you need to be at. All
right. Well, like Bibi just said, and I agree. See, like, what I'm basing this on is the T.I. Candace argument. And what I'm basing it on is the fact that Candace was trying to say that, not to vote Democratic and to vote Republican based on that one point, as though Republicans were going to do better. But when you look at it, that's a misnomer, because it's not a Republican or a Democratic thing.
I don't think that's what she was saying. I think Candace was actually saying that as Black people, we have to stop falling for everything that Democrats push out, because they pulled the race issue to get our vote. But after they're in office, they do nothing to help us. That's our argument.
Okay, the argument is to get off your butt and do something. Get off your butt and go to work. Get off your butt and stop relying on the government to continue to help you along. Help you along. Get out and do something. We too laid back.
Okay, now what I'm gonna say, based on what Candace said, like based on what you said, you think her point was the point of that we got to stop letting Democrats voting for Democrats. But either way it goes, it's both political parties. All of them are the same. So once again, that's a misnomer. It's not based on Republican or Democrat. So once again, she made a faux pas and a misnomer and a misconception, because at the end of the day, here's the biggest thing. First of all, we think that just because we vote for somebody and they get in office, that's the end of our reign. That's the end of our job. No, we are responsible for putting pressure on our politicians. And the way to do that is to start with your local and state politicians. Go be active, voice your opinion, send them emails, call them up. That's what other races do when they have issues in their community. They take stands. They gather and rally people together, because numbers count with politicians. What we have to stop doing is we have to stop thinking that we're just going to sit back and people are just going to magically want to do something for us. Like they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. So we got to start being more proactive when it comes to politics, more proactive when it comes to engaging with our local and state politicians. A lot of people don't even know, they don't vote locally or state, and that's more important than, you know, voting for your president, because this is what makes up the state, the House and the Senate. Okay,
and that's another point that was made on Revolt Summit, is if you do not know who your mayor is, if you do not know who your councilman is, if you do not know who your congressman is, your senator, then you really have lost the fight already. Because if you don't know these people, how could you ever want to make a change? How could you? Because we're so quick to complain about everything, but when it comes to trying to fix these problems, we had all we could do is talk about it, nobody be about it. Nobody is going to get up and go and stop the road. Like, let's just say this one thing. The city of Newark is going through a water crisis right now. All our pipes need to be, a lot of our pipes in our areas need to be replaced because our water is filled with lead. One of my neighbors went to each door, and she was very, very vital to of getting the people out here to fix our pipes on our street. She got signatures and everything, and right now they're out there replacing our pipes. They're not doing that everywhere else, but because this one lady was not playing around and she was vital, she was there. She made sure everybody signed it. She knocked on everybody's door. She's always on the phone letting us know what's going on in our neighborhood. And we all come together and do make things happen. We got them signatures, and now they're out there fixing the problem. It's little things like that that strikes a bigger conversation that makes change. What happened to having the neighborhood watch? What happened to those things, those little programs that made a difference in our community? We stopped caring about that stuff. We no longer thought that stuff was important. So this is what you have when you just have one person deciding what our future is going to be, then you can just forget about it. They're going to be just for self.
Right. And let me read a few comments. Retro Babe said, well, immigrants are willing to take work that others won't do at minimum wage or low wage. And then also YSM said it's hard to do something on minimum wage. I absolutely agree, because our cost of living is higher than our wage. You know, like, and you know, your rent, like some people, they can't even pay their rent from their work checks. You know, nevertheless, your groceries, your electric, your food, and all of that stuff. You know, they can't even, because let me give you an example. You know, like I'm getting ready to move to Virginia. All right. So, you know, I talked to some people like in the area, and they were telling me that, you know, rent was $1,000, that you had to have at least 2 jobs to be able to cover your rent. Because the $1,000, your one job only covers your rent, and the other job covers the rest of your expenses. And that's a shame. That means that you know, you don't even have, you know, time to, you know, even enjoy your apartment or your home.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, Jay Don said Democrats and Republicans are like a snake with 2 heads. At the end of the day, it's still the same snake. Yes, but at the same time, see, here's one of the biggest problems. Like I said, the biggest problem is we're not proactive when it comes down to our politics and our politicians. Some people don't even know what jurisdiction they live in. We don't know enough about anything American. Therefore, we're sitting here ignorantly and expecting people to basically take care of these things for us. And then a lot of times, just like with the rhetoric with Candace, okay, a lot of people believe those things because they're not critically thinking and they don't really know the components of how the system works. Therefore, they believe those things. We believe propaganda a lot of times because of the simple fact that we're not breaking it down, because we don't know how society and America is set up. We don't know that one thing affects another thing, affects another thing, affects another thing. And so we're making rush decisions and not looking at the big picture. Or we're agreeing.
I'm sorry. So let me just give you another point she made up, and I want your opinion on that. She also said that what's going on now is no, not what's going on right now, but what has been going on is getting the black man out of the home. So what they're doing is making it so convenient for women to be on welfare and giving them the option of, we'll give you more if the man is not in the home.
Right.
And so that sparked a big, conversation of that. Like, why is it that we will be complete? We fall for the welfare system because we think we're getting more, but it's designed actually to keep the black man up out the home.
Do you know in the state of Mississippi, and it probably be other states, but I can just speak for the one that I'm from. A man can get food stamps easier than a female. They give them exactly $111, and all they have to do is take a letter to the welfare department and say, "Well, I live with her, but I have to pay for my own food."
Yeah. So my question is this: why would you now think about this? Why would anyone find it easier? I'm just trying to figure out what's the thinking process. Why would we find it easier to wake up in the morning? Because you got to get up early in the morning to get to these places. You got to stand on these very long lines to get into the place. You got to stand in another line to sign your name and wait for somebody to call you. And this is hours we're sitting here waiting. And then we have to go in and talk to this person and spill all these reasons why we cannot for $111. When why do we find that easier than actually filling out an application, going to get a job that's going to pay us for the work?
I'm gonna tell you why. Tell you why. Give me just 1 second. I am going to tell, because we're gonna do some math here.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Why I'm doing this math?
I'm gonna just say this. Look, y'all. I ain't saying I don't have a degree. I'm half college, but I make good money. I make 20 plus. My rent $1,000.
What's the average? What's the average minimum wage?
The average is $7.25.
$7.25. Okay.
$7.25. Now I know if somebody told me that I had to make $7.25, I wouldn't even know what to do with my life. So I know it's hard out there.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna do. Okay. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay. Anybody live in Virginia? Because I do know like what the average rent is in Virginia. I'm gonna base it off of Virginia. Anybody live in Virginia and know what the minimum wage is for Virginia? I think it's like $8 or $9.
The national average is $7.25, right?
No, in Jersey is $9. Actually, yes, $9 in Jersey.
How much is the minimum wage in Virginia?
Let me see.
Yeah, you're right. The cost of living is cheaper in the South, but the pay is terrible because they wage it because of the cost of living. That's how they equal it out.
It's $7.25. All right. So what I just did was, and let me put it up here. Okay, so I just did $7.25. So that's minimum wage times 40 hours a week. And you know what I got? I got $1,160 for a month. Okay, so you're in Virginia. So Virginia, $1,160 a month only leaves you $100.
That's a week. $1,000 and some dollars a week. You did 40 hours a week.
Wait, hold up. Let me make sure. I can make sure it's right. Okay, 7. Okay, what I do? $7. So that's 290 times 4 equals 1,100.
Okay, that's a month. Okay,
listen. Okay, so listen now. $1,160 a month. So if the average, rent is $1,000, let's subtract that. That leaves you with $160 to eat, for transportation, for health care, for any other thing that you need. And out of that $1,160, all of that is not even bring home pay.
Okay, so what's stopping us from doing better? What's stopping us from doing better? Hell, I done been home. I done been hungry. You know, all types of shit. Lived in roach infested places. All types of shit. So, but
So
but I want, but I want
and
it
that's what I'm
better.
saying again. Like, why do us black people, why do we find it easier to go into these
No, but that's
establishments?
1,000. This is a working person. This is a person working, getting 40 hours a week. This is not a person on welfare. This is
But
a
you know how much welfare get? Welfare
Right.
give you $111 a month. Not a
okay.
week,
So
not a day,
all right.
a
Look,
month.
so
A
let's do it realistically. $1,011
If I make $1,000 a month, I ain't gonna live in no $1,000 a month rented apartment or rented house.
you don't have
My
a
rent gonna
choice.
cost
In
$350.
Virginia, that's not a choice. In Virginia, because this is based on Virginia wages. In Virginia, $1,000 is a piece of crap. Is a piece of crap. Okay. And I know this for sure because I went to look. All right, now here's the thing. Okay, you said $1,111. Okay, but okay, you said why would you stand in that line? Okay, all right, so we're looking at you could get Section 8 housing, and what you might have to pay. I'm just gonna say $50. We're gonna say $50 a month. We're looking at if
But
you
you
got.
know, you have to
Let me
make
break
a
it down.
certain amount of money.
I'm trying to break something down right quick.
I know, but you have to make a certain amount of money to qualify for those type of programs. You can't have a decent job and get on Section 8. You won't qualify.
Okay, right, but we ain't talk about that. We talk about why they stand in line. Okay, because even this person with $1,160 qualifies for housing and should go stand in line for housing because basically they're not
No,
bringing.
I wasn't talking about housing. I wasn't talking about housing. I was talking about
But
people.
when they're saying welfare, they're not talking about just the welfare. When they're saying welfare, they're talking about housing. They're talking about food stamps. They're talking about
But most housings you can't even get that unless you have a job. You have to be able to cover some rent. You're not just going to get housing just being on welfare. You have to have some type of income coming in. They don't just give you that.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, either way.
Yeah, no, well, I wasn't talking about housing.
But okay, when they're saying welfare, that's what they're saying. Okay, because the only people who get welfare are the people who are women with children. Those are the only people who get welfare. Welfare, like what y'all talking about, the welfare, like the 111. Those are only women with children that qualify for that.
No, that was just for men. Women with children get about I know in Jersey you get like $322 with children. Now they go up on the food stamps depending on how many kids you got. Now that increases depending on the amount of kids, but the actual money stipend you get is $322 a month.
Okay, so now let's go back and look. So since we know that, right? Let's go back and look at this person making $1,160. Okay, now this person got 2 kids. Okay, so this person has to either hopefully if these children are not child age, and hopefully they can get a job within the hours or time frame of that those children go to school. Or they have somebody who can care for those children for free for them. Because if they don't, we have to factor in the cost of child care. Because, you can't leave your children by yourself. So we got to factor in the cost of child care. And earlier, somebody told me that child care ranges from $140 a week. So if that was the case, then, we're basing it on $140 a week. That's $560 a month for child care.
So my question to you, QI, is knowing all of these factors. Now, you have to pay rent. You have to pay child care. You have to put food on the table. You have to pay for lights. You got all these responsibilities that you have to pay for with children. And whose problem does that become? Whose problem is that? Whose problem should it be? Should it be your responsibility?
It should be the father and the mother's responsibility, whether they're together or not.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that that's not the case. It literally it shifts because most times it shifts to actually just being the mother's responsibility.
And why is that fair for for it to be just the mother's responsibility?
Absolutely not. It's not fair, but as well, it's not fair at all. I'm not going to say it's fair. It's just the reality. It's
But
just what happens.
Since we're talking about rights and wrongs, and we talk about the welfare and stuff, let's talk about, is it right or wrong for it to just be the mother's responsibility?
No, it's not right. It's not right. However, it's still a reality because when you as a woman, because as a woman, you have the choice of who you're going to let impregnate you. That's just the reality of that.
Do you
have that choice?
Do you
absolutely?
Yes.
Consensual
yes.
sex?
You have a
yes,
choice.
You have the choice.
Who I'm gonna lay down with? Who I'm gonna take into my bed? Yes, I have a choice.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me read this comment, and then let me read this comment. Retro Babe said that's not true. Single men get it too. If they are not convicted felons in Mississippi, they can receive food stamps and aid. That's true. Men get aid too.
Yes.
You know, like
yes, men get aid too.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now my point is just like this. Okay, like earlier I said, our problem when we start talking about we're switching the conversation a little bit like we did earlier. So we're not gonna try to go too far because we'll take up the whole show with this. Really, it's a good topic though.
Yeah.
And I like the debate because I'm still gonna love you tomorrow, and I'm still gonna love you tomorrow, Rhonda. And people like the heated debates. Debates are fun, okay? But here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. Before we begin to blame everything on a woman, this is like a child. You have to look at that woman or that child's upbringing. You have to look at what that woman and what that child went through to make that woman or that child be the person that they are. Meaning, if you came from abuse, because we've been talking about generational curses, dysfunctional families, abuse in churches, sexual abuse, human trafficking. For God, the list goes on. Domestic violence. So if you came up around any of those different types of things, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have a high self-esteem. You're not going to have a high sense of self. And you're not going to have a high sense of self-worth. Therefore, it's easy for people like me or you who have those things, who have those characteristics, and who have those components to, make better choices when it comes down to the people that we're with. But for some people, it's like if you've been told all your life that that you're nothing, you're no good, you're fat, you're this, you're that. After a while, that's just like you tell your baby or your child, you tell your dog. After a while, they start believing it. So some people grow up feeling that way. So for a person to grow up feeling that way, to feel like they can go out and get somebody, and to feel like, that they can wait or they can basically fish out, or they can basically what's the word I'm trying to say? Set standards, raise the bar. That's unrealistic.
Well, I disagree with that because it's somebody out here for everybody, and everybody has standards. Everybody do. Yeah, I don't think there's no woman, no matter how cute or how ugly we may think they are. I don't think it's any woman that's just going to allow any man to come that they are not attracted to just going to come and woo them off their feet, and they're going to, get into a relationship in any type of way. If they don't like this person, they're just not going to do it. They may settle for things. We as women, we settle for a lot of things. But one thing for certain.
Why do you think we settled though?
Because there's so many insecurities within ourselves that we're dealing with. That it's yes, we have all women have some sort of insecurity. All of them.
So what do you think we need to do about our insecurities?
Turn the damn TV off.
Self-love. Self-love.
Okay, what if you don't know how to self-love? What if you never seen anybody love themselves and you don't know how to self-love?
Well,
you just have to. If you don't know how to love yourself, that was going to, our conversation earlier today. And I said I was going to talk about body shaming. I have a sister. My sister is 49 years old. I'm 48. My sister 49. And when I tell you she snatched. I used to, only one time in our life where we were able to wear the same size clothes. I used to go out with my sister and feel standoffish, because she was so pretty and she had the flat stomach, the big butt, and here I am, overweight. I don't have all that. I'm good with my little thing, but when you look over and you see another woman and she fine, she snatched, how do it make you feel when you standing beside her? It's all about being able to forget all that and stand up in the mirror and say, I love me. If you're not comfortable in your body, then change your body. Then change it. You can't continue to say, well, like I do every day, I want to exercise, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I still eat me a big old breakfast when I get off work and go to bed. That ain't helping nothing. So it's all about being able to have a mindset where say, if you know better, you do better. And a lot of us would know it, but won't apply it.
Okay, I definitely agree with that. But I'm gonna also say this. For one thing, it starts with self-love. It's not, you can't just look, like a lot of people say they believe in a higher being, right? And so if you believe in a higher being, no one man is an island. We were all put here with mission and purpose and for a reason. Okay. And like the Buddhists believe that we are responsible for our actions towards each other. Okay, so like if a person been abused, I'm gonna do that drunk again me. If a person, in fact, I might do it in 3 minutes. But if a person has been, they grew up seeing their mom being abused, and then they grew up, or say they grew up being abused as well. Do you think that might be easy for someone that because we have a lot of dysfunction within our communities. Especially towards women, because 80% of Black girls are, molested before the age of 9. Now, I can tell you all too well, sexual abuse traumatizes you for life. That's a lifelong. It's like it doesn't matter how much therapy you go through, you still battle and fight with that. As a result, I have post-traumatic stress disorder. So a lot of times, growing up in abusive situations and different things like that, it doesn't only create low self-esteem, low self-worth. It also creates emotional and mental issues as well. That
we get wrong.
But here's the thing: mental health has been taboo within the Black community for a long time. We used to take people to the church and thought that the pastor was going to be able to cast those demons out of them, until even the pastors these days have to admit that wasn't working, and they had to start consulting with mental health. Okay, right. Now, a lot of people don't know how to go get mental health, because I work in the mental health field and I still do as a contract employee. A lot of people, and then mental health is a process. It's not just like you go one day and you're better all of a sudden. It's a process, and sometimes it could take a lifetime. So for people like that, or for so basically, before we just say that women need to make better choices, we got to look at the root of this self-esteem. We got to look at the root of these mental and emotional issues that we have within that's making us make these bad decisions. And so that's my point. Let's go to the root instead of thinking that everybody has the capability or that everybody's on equal playing ground when it comes to this, because it's not easy. Like I said, it ain't equal playing ground for me. It's just that I work very hard, and I still, even after working very hard, I still battle. Every day ain't no easy day. I still battle to stay positive. I still battle with self-love. I still battle with, all of the esteem issues. It's hard work. It's hard everyday work. So
what's wrong with us coming to, I don't want to sound biased or whatever, but what's wrong with us coming to grip with what's going on with our lives? You face it, you deal with it, and you move on.
Well,
a lot of us as black women, as young black women, have all been through all types of stuff. Hell, I've been touched. You know what I mean? At a young age, 6 years old. I remember.
You so mean. Because let me tell you something. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you know that's the same thing that people from the military have? That means that, like, without you even being conscious of it, sometimes when something reminds you of that situation that you went through, you have these flashbacks, these visions. You might start just panicking and panicking. And sometimes you're not even aware of what triggered you, aware of why you begin to feel these ways. So most trauma and most stuff is not easy to just get over. And see, that's our problem. We think everything is like you just get over it. Sometimes you got to have help to process things. Sometimes you have to have help to process abuse. Sometimes you have to have help healing. So like, whereas it might be easy for you, not everybody, everybody copes with things differently, and it's different for everybody. So we have to keep that in mind too before we just play the blame game, or before we just think that, it's so easy for everybody. Because I can tell you for sure, I worked all my life. I had good jobs all my life, but still it didn't stop that post-traumatic stress disorder. And that post-traumatic stress disorder caused me from being more, I could have been a lot more successful than I was if I had not had that.
Retro Bay said, but you can't live as a broken soul, Kira. You have to forgive the person who hurt you, and then forgive yourself. Believe me, I know I finally learned that in my late 30s. I had a lot of anger. Let it go. You have to grow. We done raised kids. We done did all types of things that happened to us, but we done had jobs. We done had failed relationships, successful relationships, all types of things. It's a mindset. It's all a mindset. If you continue to tell yourself in your mind, if you continue, oh, I'm like this because so-and-so happened to me when I was this age and I was that age, and you ain't gonna never get past what's holding you back. You're holding yourself back.
No, listen very closely, Rhonda. I don't tell myself that. And see, the reason I'm speaking from experience is because I can, because it's better. Okay, because I can tell you firsthand that I experienced these things. And like people who don't experience these things, they shouldn't be the ones that speak for people who do, or they can't be the ones that speak for people who do. Because along with these traumas, these abuses, and these experiences comes mental health issues like anxiety, like depression. And it's not controllable, like a lot of times by itself. Sometimes some people have to go on medication, and some people have to get therapy. And then, do you know there are some people who don't even remember the trauma that they had in their life enough to get over it? They don't know why they feel the way that they do, because they can't remember. They block out their trauma. That's what
I'm not insensitive to people that's been through. I'm not insensitive to people that have been through trauma in their lives, but I do believe that a lot of us, a lot of us use it as a crutch.
I've never used it as a crutch. So like I said, I'm gonna use myself as as an example. I've never used that as a crutch.
I just think that everybody deal with, like, all three of us have been through some form of abuse and some type of abuse in our lives, and we all have different ways that we deal with it.
Fact.
So what may help you, QI, may not help me. What may help me may not help Rhonda. But we all have come to this place where we're able to sit here today and be a good word for someone else, to be able to help somebody else.
And that's what I was saying. I was saying we can't say that, people should just, like pick themselves and just get up and get over it, because it's not easy for everybody to just do that. Everybody, it's not like, depending on their situation, depending on what happened. It's just not easy for everybody to do that. So
are we going to open up the lines? Because Drunken Meat is about to have
she got something to say.
All right.
She got something to say. Please.
I'm gonna mute real quick. Y'all continue to talk while I go ahead and get the phone thing up.
Okay. John again says she got something she needs to say.
Yes. My Melissa said, my coworker said I was molested and I survived, so will she. And this is after finding out that her new husband touched her daughter. Shaking my head. Because you know why? Sometimes this type of traumatic things affect people different. And sometimes they're not even, they're outside of themselves. Some people deal with things that not even in their own spirit anymore. They have stepped outside of their body and they walking around like real living zombies, numb to everything. And that could be very well what whoever this person is going through. It may not, she may not know how to deal with what just happened, and she may just throw it in the back of her head. Things that happened to me when I was younger, I literally forgot about it. I taught myself to just take it outside of my mind. And it wasn't until something had to happen later on, like years and years later, that triggered it back into my head. Like, oh shit, this happened to me. Because I had blocked it out. It happens. It happens all the time. And then I know people who had things have happened to them and they've been scared to death to tell a soul. So they have been living with this stuff inside them, which can make them evil. You may think they're evil and mean, but no, they're just hurting. And you know what I'm saying? And then you have those who cry out for help, and we find them weak. Oh, they always just want some attention and stuff like that. Like we always have something to say about how people deal with their trauma, and it's not right. It's open. Where Drunken Mink at?
QI froze?
Yeah. I hear the phone ringing though.
Yeah. Some people are so accustomed to abuse until that's all that they know. Abuse is their normal. So like we have to keep that in mind. If you didn't grow up in a normal family environment as a child, because your environment as a child sets the standard for who you're going to become or how you're going to react as an adult. So if you didn't grow up in a normal household environment, you grew up around a bunch of abuse and things of that nature, that's your normal. And to some extent, they think that abuse is okay, or they think that that is normal. So like we have to keep that in mind as well too. It's like it's a lot of things that people like. It's just like we have to have more compassion, and then we have to help people to find ways to heal. That's why I'm very glad that I work in the mental health field, and and I wouldn't change it for the world. I enjoy it because I enjoy helping people, find healing. I enjoy, that. And that's why I know that we can't base, everybody's not the same. Everybody with the same mental health diagnosis is not like everybody with bipolar is not the same as every other person with bipolar. Everybody with depression is not the same and doesn't act like every other person with depression. Like it works differently for each individual. And then, and the causes and stuff, and people react differently. So, you know, that's what we have to keep in mind. And we have to like listen and then, you know, try to find references and resources for people. And that's why we need our references. We need our resources. I think we need, you know, like our welfare. I think we need now, like, are some people abusing it? Absolutely. But I think that they're dealing with that because the government, they want to keep the majority of the profit. So I think that they're trying to find ways to cut those people who are abusing it off. But you know, we need that until that you can guarantee that you're gonna have a job, you know, for the rest of your life that's gonna pay, where you'll be able to pay for all your bills and all your expenses. Then we need assistance. So we have to be careful about, you know, protesting because if they get rid of it, we all gonna be in trouble. But hi, Carla, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Hey, Meek, can y'all hear Meek?
She a little low.
Yeah, she a little low.
Go ahead, Meek.
Can
Can y'all hear?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Meek.
Okay. I was saying that, like, everybody deal with stuff differently. And, you know, I don't know what anybody goes through, but you cannot expect a person to act like you do. That's all I'm trying to say. Because it's crazy to say, get over it. You can't get over it. It took me 30 years to even mention it.
Yeah. It took me that long, and I still have things that, you know, I discover on a daily and that I have to work on a daily. So, you know, that's, you know, it takes a you know, a while, you know, to get to the point where, you know, it no longer affects you in your life. Well, we need to.
I was just to the point that it no longer affects me because I'm so worried about my kids, you know.
Right.
I didn't have little bitty kids, you know. I have like my youngest daughter is like 23. So it's like, you know, and I had a whole baby from my right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, did y'all hear her? She said she had a whole baby from her. That's correct, right, Meek? You had a whole baby from your situation, right? So, you know, like, so we're talking about welfare assistance and stuff like that. We got to keep those cases in mind too. And then, like, sometimes when people have children, it wasn't always their choice to lay down with their person. Sometimes it be situations of force. So we have to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. That was my point. Like, I was talking about this consensual. I wasn't talking about situations where that occurs. I do understand that. I was just saying, you know, as a whole, you know, there are different situations where that happens, where you don't have a choice. But for the most part, most of us that actually had children decided to have these children by the men we decided to have them with. And when we did, at the time, we had big aspirations for the both of us. We probably had big aspirations that he was going to be the best father and you was going to be the best mother. Although, let's just be honest here. Although some of us seen red flags, although some of us knew already this man had 4 kids that he wasn't taking care of already. Some of us knew that he was not. Listen, I'm just saying, these are the red flags that we see ahead of getting pregnant. And we still do it. And then we wonder why the results are the same. What? Why he not taking care of mine? But you seen him, you witnessed him not take care of the ones he had already, and you still chose him to be your baby father. You understand what I'm saying? You still chose to marry this man.
We fool ourselves that, oh, I got him. It's gonna be different with me, and it's never different. It's gonna be the same exact thing. You're gonna end up taking care of a man later while you're trying to take care of that child.
Okay, yeah, let's let the caller talk. The caller has something to say.
But I'm just saying, who are you talking to? You talking about laying down with a man. I said laying down with, not even laying down, forcibly raping and having a baby is different from laying down with a man. Or you, like, I don't even know who this is. Are you delusional? I said this is rape. Hello?
I don't think I can't really hear you. I'm like some things you're saying I hear, and then some things I'm not hearing.
Okay, what she said was she's not talking about choosing to lay down with a man. What she said is that she's talking about she was raped and got pregnant.
That's absolutely horrible, and I feel sorry. That's never what I'm talking about with your situation. Again, like that is a whole nother situation, and I can empathize with you, but I don't know what it's like, what you went through, because I was never in that situation. But I could just have sympathy, empathy, and understand that must have been rough for you, and to have to carry your baby and love your baby because he or she is yours. Absolutely, like I have a lot of empathy for that. Because,
You're telling a whole person to get over something. Did you hear me? You're telling someone to get over something that like traumatic happened in life. That's not fair. You cannot tell somebody to get over it. You can't get over it. Some people it takes a lifetime to get over it.
who told you to get over it?
I don't know who said to get over stuff. That's what I said. I used to be on the call like day to day or something like that. I hear to get over it. You pretty much push to the side. Nobody's not built like that. If you built like this, you have a hateful heart in your life. I mean, you really do.
No, I would never tell no one. I don't care what your situation is. I would never tell nobody to just get over it, because I can't do that.
That's not cool. You don't tell nobody this. Let them go through the shit that they want to go through. That's all I'm saying. Like, sometimes you need years to even cry about it. Let them cry about it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like, I would never tell no one to get over anything traumatic that happens in someone's life. You can't tell nobody to get over it.
I can't even look at my phone, but I think that's weird for somebody to say, "Hey, what's going on with your day or whatever." I ain't going on with no damn day. I want to dance. I want to scream. What's scream? You don't want to hear it? Shit, hang up, move on. But I don't think nobody should have to go through some stuff that, if somebody's their friend, they're willing to go through it with you. And I'm going to go ahead and go.
All right.
I'll be in the street.
All right. Thank you for the call.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. 3911. What's on your mind? Caller 3911. What's on your mind? Okay, the caller dropped. Okay, well, pretty much, like the sum up with drunk again, Meek was saying, she was basically saying that well, pretty much the same thing that we've been saying. Like, it depends on the situation and the circumstances. Everybody handles everything differently, and sometimes, like some people never get over like stuff that they've been through. Like, let's just say Melvin. There are people who were in Katrina, and they're still today affected by Katrina. There are children that witnessed Katrina and the Hurricane Katrina, and they're still affected by Hurricane Katrina. There are people who experienced 911, and they're still affected by experiencing 911 therapy and all. So, it's like we think that, because, we think that, it's easy a lot of times, for people to get over trauma. But sometimes, like with post-traumatic stress, it's like little movies playing in your head at their own wheel, like without you even pushing the play button. And then once it starts playing, you can't even push the stop button until, until like it's ready. But you have to know how to, you have to start recognizing that. The only thing that you can do is recognize it, and then you have to allow it to process itself so that you don't do anything crazy. So, the mind is a very delicate organ. The brain is a very delicate organ. And they haven't even studied the brain enough to know, but one thing, we got to stop before we say that, a lot of benefits and stuff for us. We got to stop a lot of the abuse, a lot of the trauma, and a lot of the issues, especially the things that happen with kids. But go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and move to the next topic. Go ahead, Wanda, and let's speak on body shaming because that ties right in.
Right, and we had really just got into it and started talking to
You froze for a minute, but we're gonna wait.
and be able to love ourselves. You have asked how it is can you love yourself when you haven't been in that type of environment.
Right, you freezing
Think it's
again.
all of I'm
You
gonna do
freeze.
me. Am I
Okay.
freezing?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
froze. I'm gonna need you to repeat it again. But give me let's see, get it straight first. And then because I need you to go back into it so everybody understands. But let me read this while you're doing that. Lady Span said, and hello, welcome, Lady Span. I had a wonderful childhood, college educated, and a great job. Never been married and no kids. I lost my mom 5 years ago, and I've been stuck ever since. I struggle every day with my purpose in life at 50 years old. Yeah, I understand. And I lost my mom as well, and my condolences. And sorry that you had to go through that. Yeah, I lost my mom.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Retro Babe said, well, I married young and came from a strict Christian home. I suppressed my desires for women and stayed for the children. I'm now living my life and happy. Everyone moves at their own pace. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. It just, to me, it just feels like at some point, and some women get this earlier, some people get it later. But at some point, we have to realize who we are, what we mean to ourselves. Because if we don't love and respect and honor ourselves, we cannot expect anyone else to do it. And we have to be comfortable in our own skin. I say this all the time. If you do not like the skin that you're in, you have the chance and the willingness and the capability to change that. But what you can't, what is not fair for you to do is walk around with a chip on your shoulder and think everybody is supposed to cater to yourself, to your insecurities. These are your insecurities. You can work at them, or if you don't want to work at them, then don't. But if you're looking for results, then you know what you need to do to make those changes. You cannot expect, and again, I would say this till I'm blue, there is somebody in this world for everybody. Media, social media, TV got us thinking that we have to look a certain way to be
Right.
accepted to everyone, and that's just not real life. When you take away the cameras, when you take away all this makeup, when you take away all these liposuctions and all this stuff that people get done,
Nothing
you
left
have,
without black skin.
yes,
Nothing left
and
without
so
black skin.
you have to be very comfortable and secure in the skin that you're in.
Okay,
Right,
now
and I thank you, BB, for making that point for me because you said it better than I could say it. So thank you very much.
say
No,
Okay, but that's how I feel about it. I get told all the time, "Oh, you're cute." We walk the walk, but when I stand in the mirror, I don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see what everybody when I put on the makeup and do your hair, But when I stand there and it's just me, it makes you sad. It makes you depressed. It makes you want
Rhonda,
to.
I honestly think that I think what you I think that what you're doing is comparing yourself.
Right.
That's
And now,
that's
now,
that's
now, I
that's what
used
it
to.
is.
I used
Yeah,
to. I used to. Now that until, like I said, I learned how to love me. I learned how to grow and
absolutely.
expand. I was saying that with my sister. Like I said, we're not even a year apart, and like I said, she snatched to the gods.
But you think that that's what everybody want. That's where
Right,
you're
and that's
doing
what I
wrong.
thought. And that's what I
Yes,
thought.
yes,
But
that's what
now,
and that's not true
but
because
now,
everybody
no.
don't desire that.
Right now, no. What everything that I think about me, I want to do it for me. I used to want to stand up and have my body a certain way or look a certain way
Mhm.
to please other people, to
Right.
please to find what they think about me. But now I do it because of what I think of me. I
Yeah.
don't. It's all about me. I don't care. And that's the whole thing. You have to learn and put yourself in your own head and say, I am beautiful. I am the best. Nobody's comparing you to nobody. And the sad part about it is a lot of us have did it to ourselves. The reason why some of us, our black sisters, are insecure is because of what other black sisters have said about them.
Okay.
Girl, girl, go
Okay.
ahead, girl.
Good point. Because that goes right into my next point. You're right. She said that, black, and you know why? Because we've been taught black on black self-hate. Okay, let's look at
Can I
media.
say something?
Okay, yeah, give me just 1 minute, Carla. Let's look at media. Okay, in the media has been programming us and setting the standards for what is considered beauty. Because it's just like they set the standards for what is considered fashion. Because we
Right.
the trends. Okay, so like 9 times out of 10, if like Nike, we pay $300 and stuff for a pair of Nikes because the industry standards, like because pretty much of industry standards. But technically, like you can define, your own style, and you don't have to spend that much money. But because and just like when you look at movies, when you look at television, a lot of times when you see black women, they have derogatory part, or like just like one time, like at the beginning, it was like we were uh what slaves and different things of that nature, or prostitutes, or things of that nature, and that's programming. Okay, so we've been.
Let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Please.
Go ahead.
First of all, that lady right there on the end, she could have been talking about that she's so whatever she thinks. But she sat up there and said it was okay for somebody to be violated and not speak on it. So how in the fuck the damn
Who said that?
whatever I need
Woo,
to
woo,
say.
woo. Don't okay.
Well, the
We
lady
got
at
the
the
point.
end said to get over it. Who said get over it?
Okay. Well, whoever said get over it, we're not gonna point no
I didn't
fingers.
say get over it. I said learn how to
I'm gonna
deal with it and move on.
she said get on there. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I'm gonna get out the chat because I think you are foolish. You're talking foolish.
Okay.
So,
Not well, Meek, you don't have to go ahead and go, and you don't have to get out the chat. Like
No,
everybody, that's her one opinion. The reason why we have 3 people on the panel is because we want 3 perspectives and we want 3 opinions. And sometimes a different of opinion helps us to see things and help us to grow. But I can't tell you that I don't agree with that. So not everybody agrees to that one thing, and that's not the end all or do all. Okay. Now I do agree, like I understand because like I said, I've been through that. And for one thing, that we got to get back to the root. When we stop the abuse that happens with black women and black girls, and with the black people, then we can blame black women. But until we stop the abuse, we can't blame black women for anything because abuse is traumatic, and then it makes you like it causes all kinds of mental illnesses. It causes all kinds of emotional illnesses. It causes illnesses. And then, we're not taught, like, you don't get any help a lot of times for these issues, because a lot of times, when a girl comes out and says they were molested, 9 times out of 10, it's a lot of bashing and shaming, victim shaming, or even blaming that little girl. Oh, she's fast. She be wearing them skirts up to her. Oh, she be doing this. And that's what we got to stop doing. And we got to stop being so quick to say negative things, just like you were saying, Rhonda, earlier. You was like, we generally, like, we bash each other. We got to stop bashing each other, and we got to uphold each other. Then we can find healing. And then a lot of these issues that we have, they will stop. Because when people start feeling better, they do better. When people, and they do better. So they have to feel better to do better. But you can't expect a broken horse to get up and run.
And we got to stop depending on other people to make us feel a certain way. We have to start off with that from within. We got to know that who we are within, because once you do that, you display that outwards, and that's the attention that you want. You don't want nobody that you have to rely on to tell you that you look a certain way, to tell you that you should do this and do. No, you want to tell them, this is who I am, this is how I feel, and this is what I'm going to expect from you. So it starts within. Like, it really does. It starts within. You have to literally be willing to have that conversation with yourself and look and be able to love who you are without all the extras. If you want it, that's fine, but don't be dependent because you think you're going to get this certain amount of attention with it.
Well, it starts at home, and it starts from a baby coming up, because as we can often hear, you often hear, oh, well, these people are attention seeking because they didn't get attention somewhere at home. And just like most pimps will tell you that that the little girls and the women that they go after are the ones that have family issues, are the ones that don't get along with their mothers. So it starts with you telling your children, and we can start this today. You tell your children a lot of what we didn't get, and it's not we didn't get it because because they didn't want to. A lot of times we didn't get it because they didn't get it. But we have to start telling our children, you're beautiful. We have to start telling our
That's right.
You're smart. We have to start telling our children, you are worthy. We have to start building our children's self-esteem from a little person. And then we have to stop bashing each other.
Absolutely. Yes.
And saying negative things.
That's my point. Stop bashing each other.
And we have to have compassion. We do have to have compassion. I mean, most people say they believe in God, and that's even in the Bible. So we have to start having compassion for the meek and the mild, for the people who've been through things. We have to have compassion, and we are here to help people along the way, help people through life. So, we can't, so it is all of our responsibility. It is society. Everything in society's responsibility. If one person can't eat, it's all of our responsibility. Back in the days, we had back, especially where I grew up and how I grew up. Like if a family was struggling, the rest of the people in the neighborhood would pitch in and bring things to help that family along. Now, but we don't have that anymore because we're selfish. So, and we have to be willing to uplift each other as Black women, because self-hatred, a lot of times self-hatred, we project what we feel about ourselves onto others. It's our insecurity that makes us say those bad things to the next person. It's our own internal insecurity that makes us, hate the next Black woman when we don't even know her. It's our own insecurities that makes us treat each other bad. So a lot of times, we got to, first of all, we got to look within, because you can't love anybody else until you first love yourself. And then you have to, if you love yourself, then you love others. And you especially going to love other people who are of your same ethnic group, of your same gender. If you don't love...
Retro Babe, let me read something Retro Babe said. Those are fake, false images. I love my weaves, the lashes, the nails, too, mainly because of my prior profession. But at the end of the day, this all comes off, and I just look beautiful. Wait a minute. And I look just as good natural, well, as all do. And I agree with that. I agree with that Retro Babe, with everything. Like, I loved weaves. When I wore it, I looked, and I'm going to tell you the truth. When I wore weaves, I got different attention. I would say I got more attention with the fake hair and everything like that. And I see that now that I don't have any hair, I don't get as much attention, which is fine because I'm older. I'm with my partner. As long as she loves it, I'm good with that. So I'm not looking for the attention. but I see the difference in the looks that I get with this hair versus the false stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's amazing to me, but it just goes. I mean, I'm not gonna blame them because I see where it comes from. Because when you look at TV, everyone looks the same. Everyone has the long hair. Everyone has the owl-shaped glass. They don't even want you on TV if you don't have it anymore. So everybody's looking like freaking robots. Like everyone looks the same. So now when you're looking at TV, you think everybody is supposed to look that way. So when you're looking at natural beauty, you don't think that's beautiful because you're programmed to thinking everybody's supposed to look a certain way.
Right. And let me take this next caller. Okay, and before I say that, you know, like love and confidence comes from the inside out. Okay, so like it doesn't matter what your outside is like, it's what your inside looks like. But go ahead, caller. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm calling because I'm sitting in the chat, listening, watching, and realized that. Could you hear me first off?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can y'all hear the caller?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think when Drunk Meat called in, she might have just caught a little bit of what Go Down the Street was starting to say, but she was also interrupted. She didn't get to finish. She started saying something happened to her at the age of 6. And the way that she coped, or maybe encouraged to cope, or what I was understanding is maybe that she was kind of told, you know, we're strong women, get up, get on, and move ahead in life, and just be strong women. I don't think she was really saying that as a generalization, but she was interrupted and she was trying to finish that. So I feel like I wanted to point that out because that, you know, the words can be triggering, and because she didn't really get to finish her sentence, those words didn't have justice, I want to say.
Okay.
She didn't really mean to hurt anybody. But the other thing I do want to say is that we're talking about triggers and things like that. We have words that trigger us. We have smells that trigger us. It's up to us to find coping mechanisms. It's up to us to figure. And also, like you said earlier, jump in and help others. If you know the little girl next door is being molested, you call the damn police. You don't have to tell nobody else. You get up and do it because we need to understand and know when it's happening to us as women, because the women before us have given us a signal that it's okay or it's excusable or we need to hide it or we need to do something like that. But the truth is no. When you see a child that is being misled, you say no. That is your body. No, nobody should be touching it. No man, no woman, nobody. And when somebody does, you do have to tell. And if it hurts your body, it actually hurts you. Hello? How do we have the balls to let that happen to kids? We shouldn't. But we're all traumatized, right? Whatever happened to us individually, that's where we have to come together and we help where there's a weakness. And I will take strength from you and I will give you my strength. And that's just the only way we can grow and build. When I was younger, I was 14 and had a 32-year-old boyfriend. Okay, no way in hell did I think I was being molested, or nobody called him a predator, or nobody, you know, I was cute and looked a little older for my age, and people, I mean, adults and everything in my life. Nobody told me.
Paula, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I heard you right. You said when you was 14, you had a 30-something-year-old boyfriend?
Yes, I did. And
can I ask you, why were you attracted to someone so older than you?
I was just I didn't want to take the bus to school, and he had a car, and that's just what they did. I'm 43, I'm going to be 43 years old, so back in my day, we had men running around in cars, and this, you know, they would wave at girls, and that's what it was for me. He looked younger, I looked older, and nobody, not a teacher stepped in, nobody stepped in. I was hiding it from my parents and any other adult in the neighborhood, but come on, I was getting, you know, picked up at the bus stop. And
But let me, I just have a couple of more questions though, if you don't mind. At 14, I know you just said you were just looking for a ride to get to school, and he had the car. But other than that, did you think that that's all he was going to offer you, was a ride to back and forth to school? Or was there some type of other attraction for this man besides the fact he had a car?
No, I wanted, I became Miss Popular because my man was the one with the car and he would load all the girls in the car. And so that's pretty much, and little by little, I was with this guy my whole entire 8th grade. And little by little, here he is buying us alcohol, cigarettes. Little by little, I remember being buzzed, and he had said, if I touch your breast, I know you always say no, but if I touch, it'll actually feel good if I do this, if I twist here, and if I do that. Watch, you'll see. Just let me do it, and it actually feels good. Nothing to be scared of. Just dirty shit like that. And on top of that, all his friends were messing around with my friends. And it's like, this is a whole group of old ass men. It was, but I never even looked at myself as being, is that being not normal until I was in my 30s, where I looked at this place, the whole gang of pedophiles out there. Mm-hmm. Because I look at a 14-year-old now, and she's so, little and fit, and it's like, oh my God, I feel sorry for myself as the child that I was, and I feel sorry for, if I was an adult witnessing what was happening like that. I can.
And one more question. So, did you know that was wrong? That's number one.
But as an adult, I'm the adult in my life, and I need to take care of that child in my memory bank.
Right. And let me say this. Let me answer your question, BB. She just said that she didn't think it was wrong when she was that age. And I also want to add this too.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear her. Okay.
And I also want to add this too. This is the exact, like what she's saying, that's the exact same way. Like, that's common. That happens more than we even know. That's why I say 80% of the little girls are molested. Okay. And then not just that. This is also how pimps get their prostitutes. This is also how like people generally lure people in for little girls and stuff in for human trafficking.
Grooming. And pimping was big, where I was pimping. It wasn't called human trafficking, but yeah, they did take little girls and started grooming. A few girls from my school, they were young, and a lot of people were pregnant. My best friend was 15. And so it's like, during that time where we didn't have access to information in the same way that we do now, with the internet and everything else, as we have more resources, we can be more independent now at a younger age, and we're in danger. So back then I would have to find a telephone to run to and hit 911. But yeah, it's a big difference.
And this is also how little boys end up being in the drug game, because generally, like a lot of the drug dealers and different things of that nature, they start them off young. When they're little, they'll come. You can have the little boys and stuff. See them in the car. They get the little boys, like drop them $100 and stuff like this. Buy them a pair of sneakers. They don't want to. Them little boys don't want to go to school no more. They want to hit the street. So this is how, like, most of the time, all of this type of thing from a child. Somebody got.
We talk about, we all went to work when we were 13, and minimum wage was $3.43 or whatever it is, right? Because we could work back then at 13 and 14. I went to work, but at the same time, because of where I grew up, I still was holding an 8-ball of cocaine in my locker at school for $80 a week. It was like, I cannot imagine any child in my family doing what I did, and it was only because I feel like it was the product. I was almost a product of my environment, and got to slip away and become a responsible adult, thankfully. But I'm just saying, like, for me, that was nothing. I just thought, okay, good. And I saved up, I was just like saving up whatever money I had.
And so, like, that's what I'm saying.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, sometimes we're led into the right direction. Like, I had to work. And so we're led into the right direction to do the right thing. But then we also, it's like, I felt more at home. No, I'll hold this 8-ball for you. I've been doing it already. So, like, I felt at home, comfortable. It was no big thing for me because that's just what you did.
Yeah, it's a lot, and that's reality. And see that when we're saying all of these things, we have to keep in mind reality, and we have to keep in mind the age that a lot of this stuff have started for kids. Because and then we have to keep in mind that the 80s was a big drug epidemic. A lot of people's parents and stuff were on drugs. There were a lot of kids, so a lot of these adults today are like are products of the 80s, products of like that drug epidemic. So that brought about a big change.
They're children of the parents who became addicted when crack cocaine, at least here in the Oakland area, became a big thing.
Yeah, so we have to do a lot, that we have a lot of work. We have a lot of work to do. And so, like, and it's not, we can't continue to blame. We got to look at the root of the issue, and then we got to solve these abuses. We got to solve these crimes like drugs and all of those things as well, because that's what's continuing the dysfunction. That's what's making a lot, because because like if a child's mother was using drugs when they were born, not all, but some have birth defects, some have mental problems. It's a lot of things that illnesses and stuff. So when we're looking at, we can't just assume that they're just like us, even though they look normal. We have to like listen to their story and be and sometimes be compassionate and help them along the way, because everybody didn't have a good upbringing. Some people grew up, and we wouldn't be surprised at how they had to grow up and how they had to survive.
And when there's all that drug, this is where we're the age where we hear narcissism a lot and sociopathic behavior, because that is developed through, one of the most common things is neglect, right? When you're a child between the ages of 1 and 6. And I know I'm stretching it a little bit. It's just the most crucial part of your childhood. It's what forms you. So if you are, extremely neglected or, be given out for human trafficking, all of that, you're going to grow up with these tendencies that you start learning how to mock and emulate other people's behaviors, because you have none of your own. You have no feeling and emotion. So you learn. When I look into BB Knight's eyes right now, I see sincerity and I see all this beauty, but I don't know that when she shuts the door, she's going to go hit her girl upside the head, right? Because the narcissist is so good at emulating, because it's all they've done their whole life, and that cannot be cured. So a sociopath can be treated with medication, but not a narcissist. That is an untreatable personality.
And they have to have a special. We have
a population, because we were raised with neglect, foster homes, taking advantage. I love the 80s, but it was a disgusting time for kids,
And you're right. And narcissists also have to have a special type of therapy too. They can't have regular therapy. They have to have not all psychiatrists and psychologists will even therapists will even treat narcissists. They have to go get DBT therapy.
Yeah. Next thing you know, the narcissist is sleeping with that one, and won the court case, or can't heal.
Right.
And very good. They're very interesting creatures. And all of us have some narcissism in us to a certain degree, but but that's why it gets confusing when you feel like you're being selfish. Sometimes people self-describe or describe others as narcissistic, but that's just selfishness. That's just being an asshole.
Right. And then there are multiple different personality disorders, and it's hard to determine one from the other because a lot of the symptoms are old.
Well, narcissism has 4 within its own QI. There's a covert narcissist. There's the I'm drawing a blank, but there's 4 within narcissism as is, and they're trying to establish this 5th one. But you have that narcissistic just the angry guy or girl, the angry one. Then you have the one that's personable that likes to be the center of attention, and then you have the ones that are in the darkness who are evil. So, and then you have the ones that interchange.
Yeah. And you know what? You know, of course, I know who you are, and I love the fact that you called in. I love your conversation. You brought a lot of good points and good.
Yes.
And so we're gonna
well,
go.
Boys, I was nervous when I first called in for some reason. I think I was shaky.
I don't know why.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, but we're gonna go on to the next topic. If you want to, you can stay on the phone. If you don't, you can jump back in the chat. But you're always welcome to call in, and you know I love you. All right. So the next.
Thank you guys.
Oh, hold on 1 second. BB, can you elaborate a little bit? Let me catch the phone right quick.
I don't know what the next topic is. What's the next topic? I thought we covered body shaming, and did we? We really didn't. We kind of went around the world and I tonight. We didn't mean to, but sometimes that's what happens when we get to talking, and it's just really girl talk.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes, it is. It's okay. But we hear. I'm looking at a lot of the comments, and I agree. I want to shift just a little bit with Retro Babe, because I did not realize that her story was similar to mine.
Okay.
And I do want to say, I don't know if you're still on Retro Babe, but I want to ask you, you said you're now with a woman. How long have you been in that relationship? If you don't mind answering. And I wanted to know, how was that shift? If you could call in, I would really love to talk to you, because when I was reading the chat and I seen that, I'm like, oh, her story is very similar to mine. And I like that,
Or how about you interview us as well and come in and interview or
come in. Yay! Can I do that? I would love to interview Retro Babe, because I want to know more about your story, because it's so similar. So if you're down.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. That was one. I was trying to see if like she was having some issues or something. But let me go ahead and read it says Lana Moore says, babies, this has been happening for over 70 years. Family members have molested young children for years. Some survive and some don't, but thank God I'm a survivor. Amen to that. Shout out to the survivors out there. Okay, so the last conversation, I'm just gonna brush through. I just wanted to do a quick, because I'm on this thing where I'm helping. I want to help Larry Reed. So I'm doing this quick Larry Reed update. Okay, the Larry went to court last week. The judge unsealed those documents, because all of those documents at first were sealed. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all can check out Conscious TV, or y'all can check out the previous video I did on Larry Reed, where I break down some of the details and the facts of what happened. But those documents have now been unsealed, and the press was all over. I was all at the trial. There was a bunch of press, ATL, Atlanta Constitution, all of them were at the trial. However, nobody released any coverage. Make you sort of think, huh? All right. And also the hearing did not go in favor of the House of Hope or E. DEWEYSMITH. And that is why you don't have any coverage, because a lot of times these mega churches and these pastors and stuff have affiliations, have brotherhoods, have all kinds of stuff with these people, and they control what goes out into the media. They're also controlling judges. They're controlling a lot of different things. But this time it seems that the judge was not having it with House of Hope and E. DEWEYSMITH, so it did not go in their favor. But E. DEWEYSMITH found a way for us not to get that news. He controlled the media instead. Okay. And
wow.
Yes. And Dewey is trying to hold now, because basically Larry Reed came out with the story about the baby mama. And because of Larry Reed, the baby mama, they ended up doing a paternity test, and they found that E. DEWEYSMITH was the father, right? 99% the father. All right. So E. DEWEYSMITH they had some kind of he had to pay child support, but they basically they hid all them documents and all that kind of stuff where it didn't show. It wasn't public record like things like that are often supposed to be. All right, so now E. Dewey Smith, is stated that E. Dewey Smith and the attorney, the House of Hope attorney, his attorney Quentin Washington, is now trying to hold the baby mama in contempt of court and trying to have the baby mama locked up. We need women empowerment. So what do y'all think about that? If y'all want to call in about that, or what do you think about, have you kept up or sort of heard about the story, BB?
I did hear about the story, and I wasn't paying attention to you, QI. I'm gonna be honest. I was just texting. I'm sorry. But I am familiar with the story, and I do know that he was paying Larry Reed money to keep a baby hush on a hush hush, but then he started coming out on an interview himself talking about it. So were you saying that the baby was that he started trying to not deny the baby, or no?
No, they're just trying to put the baby mama now in jail, because if she goes to jail, he don't have to pay no child support, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they got her for contempt of court. They got her for contempt of court. They try all kinds of tricks and trades. Like, it's all kinds of little tricks and trades. And see, basically, the reason we bring this stuff out is because, like, they're trying to they still have a a restraining order on Larry. That's why Larry Reed has not been able to go live. So that's why people like me and Conscious TV, we're covering the story and we're putting out the facts, because they might be able to silence Larry Reed, but they can't silence me, because I'm not under a restraining order and I'm getting my facts directly from the sources, directly from the media. So it's just like this. If you're doing bad, I don't care who you are, especially as a pastor. You have no business having a baby out of wedlock. You have no business trying. When that lady told you she was raped, you should have dealt with that member. You should have got that member locked up. You shouldn't have had to call the police and had that case under investigation instead of covering it up. Y'all got to stop doing these things, because this is what's causing our abuse in our communities amongst our Black women and our Black people. And it's happening a lot of times, more than often at church. And we got to stop all these abuses, because like I said, we got to look at all these things before we blame Black women for this and Black women for that. Because, it's a lot that we go through as Black women, or as women. I'm sorry. I take that back. As women in general. Because a lot of times these people are abusing their power. You know what it is? You got your thing on, your sound on. Mute your sound, not this sound, not the one that you're on, but like if you're listening to it, mute that sound. The other one, like from YouTube. Okay. I think that's what it is. I think you were getting back feed from that. But did you hear everything? Go ahead. You know what? You didn't get a chance to do the body shaming. Go ahead with your body shaming when you get back. But like I was saying, yeah, we're the only ones that's gonna solve and resolve these things. Nobody else is gonna do it. And so we have to become more politically active. That's what your local and your state representatives are there. I would call them, I would say in their ear. If you find out about injustices, you find out about people getting away with things, call them, put the pressure on them. Representatives are there. Can you hear me now? Say in their ear. If you find out about injustices, you find out about people getting away with things, call them, put the pressure on representatives. Mute it. Mute. You heard me? Mute. Let me put it in the chat.
Did I just yarn in the camera? I'm tired.
You get off of here. You're going to get your butt up off of here.
I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. So we're going to let Rhonda go ahead and talk about body shaming real quick, and we're going to end because BB, the baby, is sleeping.
I'm sorry. The age is kicking in, honey. I got to get up in the morning.
And she's trying to put you out of sleep.
And look, I'm the youngest, too, popping junk. So the age is kicking in.
Yeah, and she trying to put you out of sleep because yawning is contagious.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Pound show putting everybody to sleep. But go ahead, Rhonda. You ready? She's trying to put you out of sleep because yawning. Hey, Rhonda. Mute it. Mute.
Can you even hear me or not?
You gotta mute. You gotta mute YouTube. Mute me in the background. Can you hear me or not? You gotta mute. You gotta mute YouTube.
I did.
In the background.
There's nothing in my background. It's quiet here.
You might have a screen up. You might have YouTube up somewhere, and it's playing.
Okay, you can't hear me now at all, right?
I can hear you, and you sound better. Wait, that sounds better. That sounds better.
Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, that's better. Go ahead.
Oh,
Do the
okay.
back real quick so we can close out because BB over there trying to put everybody to sleep.
I've been out of the loop so long. I don't even know what
to say.
Yeah, I don't even know what y'all on right now.
Now I want you to go ahead and bring your points forward. Just go ahead and bring the points forward on the Bible shaming, the points you had on that, and then we'll close out because you didn't get to do that.
Okay, I just wanted to say that, you know, with being body shaming is that as Black women, we need to start looking at each other and be able to tell each other that we're beautiful. You know, stop going into places and looking at another sister, and the first thing we do is turn our nose up if she's cute. I know that my thing is that when I get dressed to go out even with my man, when I go out with him, I don't dress for him. I dress for the women, because women are gonna be the first ones to judge me from head to toe. So when I dress, that's who I dress for, and I don't want to feel that way anymore. And I be in the same situation. When I look at another sister, you know, first thing I'll do, look at her from head to toe and pick. And she can be the beautiful woman in the world, but to pick out the worst thing, the one thing, her toenail chip. So I just want to say that, you know, as women, let's start tomorrow. When you see a sister, tell her she's beautiful. Tell her she's beautiful. That's all I have to say, QI.
All right. Amen to that. All right. So, and I should have left that for your closing statement. That was powerful. All right. So now we're going to give our closing statements, and we're going to let people go to sleep like the baby BB.
Wake up, BB.
But go ahead. Look, Miss Sleepyhead, go ahead and give your closing statement.
I just want to say, you know, we come out to speak to our sisters just to get a better understanding of each other so that we can help each other. And, you know, we can make each other better in so many different ways if we're just open and ready to listen and hear the things that can better ourselves. And it's not to hurt anyone or make anyone feel any type of way. It's just simply to make us powerful in our own rights. And, you know, I thank everybody again for coming out. I always love to see everyone, and I love hearing everyone's views. To Drunken Meek, I think that it was just a misunderstanding. I'm glad that you realized that, you know, when you look back and stuff. That's why I couldn't understand what you was talking about, but I do understand where you were going because you heard something else. And that miscommunication is key. That was key for something that just happened tonight. It was a misunderstanding, but we can fix those things and move on. To everybody else, again, thank you for coming out, and we'll see you again next week.
All right, and go ahead and give your final thoughts and final statement, Rhonda. Girl down the street.
Hey, good night, everyone. Sleep well, be safe, and remember, it's better to be a carbon copy of yourself than an image of somebody else.
All right. All right. Well, family, you already know. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you share this video. You know, get these ratings up because we're trying to, you know, promote positivity. We're trying to promote love amongst us as sisters. And, you know, as sisters, when we stop criticizing and stop downing each other and we show each other more support, we help each other heal and we help each other find a way. You know, that's the purpose of the Women Empowerment panel and the Women Empowerment Night, where we, you know, like we find healing and we help each other rise to be the best that we can be. And I'd like to thank everyone for coming in and supporting. I hope you hit that like button as well. Woman Empowerment Wednesday will be every Wednesday night, anywhere between 8:30 and 9:30 start time. I apologize for us being a little late earlier, but we had a few things to discuss, as well as we had a few things. We had a few things. A house keeping business, whatever. But so like until next time, y'all hit that notification bell so you'll stay tuned for next Wednesday. We do have L Word panel on Sundays, and that goes from anywhere from that's a floating panel. It's going to go from channel to channel, so make sure you're subscribed to Jay Dunn, BB Nice, DC Kool-Aid, or of course I know you are myself. If you're not, shame on you. But at any rate, until next time, I like to say I love you all. Peace, love, and harmony. And until next time, stay lit. And bye.
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 All right. It was a great, exciting live.